Ever wonder why some people only appear when you're at your lowest, then vanish when things are good? As we age, loneliness and the longing for meaningful connections make us easy targets for manipulation. But it doesn't have to be this way. In this video, we reveal 7 essential truths every older adult should know. These powerful insights will help safeguard your emotional well-being, regain control, and embrace life with dignity. We'll show you how to stop trusting those who exploit your vulnerability and break free from the constant need to please others. Plus, we'll discuss why cutting ties with toxic people, even family, is essential for your peace. Learn how clinging to the past can block your happiness and why it's time to let go. Life's too short to be surrounded by negativity or regret. Stick with us to the end for a crucial tip that could radically improve your well-being. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and share this video. Your support helps us spread these life-changing lessons. The first and most vital lesson in life is learning to be selective about trust. Not everyone who enters our lives does so with pure intentions. As the years pass, this truth becomes even more significant. Aging often brings a sense of isolation, and with it, a deep craving for connection. We long for companionship, for someone who will truly hear us, share our moments, and walk alongside us in understanding. This yearning, however, can create a vulnerability. It opens a door to those who see our desire for connection not as something to cherish but as something to exploit. Have you noticed how certain individuals seem to appear in your life during your moments of weakness? They offer comfort and support when you're struggling, only to vanish without a trace as soon as you regain your strength. Their presence, fleeting and insincere, leaves a hollow feeling behind. These people are masters of manipulation. They understand the art of appealing to your kindness and exploiting your open heart. They know how to weave themselves into your life under the guise of care, only to take more than they ever give. It's a painful realization, but one that is necessary to protect ourselves. Recognizing this pattern is the first step in safeguarding our emotional well-being. Yet, life is not meant to be lived in a fortress of distrust. We don't need to shut the world out or isolate ourselves completely. Instead, we must cultivate a critical awareness, a thoughtful approach to relationships that balances openness with caution. This means learning to observe behaviors, listening to our instincts, and setting boundaries when something doesn't feel right. It's about understanding that protecting our peace and dignity is not selfish, it's essential. The path to discernment takes practice, but it brings profound rewards. As we become more vigilant, we start to identify those who bring value and authenticity into our lives. The ones who stay through both our storms and our sunshine. 1. Set daily boundaries intentionally. Each morning, take a few moments to decide what your emotional boundaries will look like for the day. Reflect on situations where you might feel stretched too thin or pressured to please others. Make a conscious decision to prioritize your peace and avoid overextending yourself. Starting the day with clear boundaries ensures you approach relationships with self-respect and confidence. 2. Observe actions, not just words. As you interact with others, focus on observing their behavior rather than just listening to what they say. Words can be persuasive, but actions reveal true intentions. Does the person follow through on their promises? Do they show respect for your time and feelings? This habit helps you discern whether someone is genuinely trustworthy or merely skilled at sounding sincere. 3. Take time before responding. When faced with requests or invitations, avoid responding immediately. Give yourself a moment to consider how it aligns with your priorities and emotional capacity. Taking a pause allows you to make thoughtful decisions without feeling pressured or rushed. This simple practice strengthens your ability to avoid commitments that might drain your energy. 4. Limit exposure to negative energy. Identify individuals or environments that consistently bring negativity into your life. Whether it's a gossiping acquaintance or a stressful setting, take steps to reduce your exposure. Limit interactions, and if avoidance isn't possible, protect your emotional space by mentally distancing yourself from their influence. This preserves your inner peace and fosters positivity in your daily life. 5. Engage in acts of self-care. Dedicate time each day to an activity that nourishes your emotional well-being. Whether it's a walk in nature, reading a book, meditating, or simply enjoying a hobby, self-care reinforces your sense of worth. By prioritizing yourself, you maintain a strong foundation, making it easier to recognize and avoid situations or people that threaten your balance. 6. Reflect on patterns in your interactions. In the evening, review the day's interactions and look for recurring patterns. Are there people who consistently leave you feeling drained or uplifted? What emotions do certain relationships evoke? Recognizing these patterns helps you make informed decisions about where to invest your time and energy, enabling you to cultivate connections that bring joy and authenticity into your life. We learn to navigate relationships with clarity, preserving our energy for people who truly care and letting go of those who drain us. In the later chapters of life, we deserve more than just survival. We deserve to thrive. Trust can still be a beautiful part of our relationships, but it should be given with intention and awareness. When something feels amiss, we must honor our intuition. By doing so, we build a life filled with genuine connections, free of toxicity and rich in meaning. Our final years can then be a time of peace, fulfillment, and authentic love. The second piece of advice might feel awkward, but it's a crucial one. Don't make masturbation a daily routine. When done in moderation, masturbation is natural and healthy. It offers stress relief, emotional comfort, and a sense of relaxation. However, when it becomes a daily or compulsive behavior, it can indicate something deeper. An attempt to escape feelings of loneliness, dissatisfaction, or emotional discomfort. What starts as a temporary fix can easily evolve into a cycle. The fleeting pleasure may slowly replace the pursuit of more meaningful connections, with others and with ourselves. Over time, this cycle can limit our growth and emotional fulfillment. The key lies in moderation. By reducing frequency, we create room to explore new, more fulfilling ways of experiencing pleasure. These alternatives can lead to a richer sense of well-being, offering deeper satisfaction that goes beyond instant gratification. It's not about eliminating masturbation, but about integrating it into a balanced, healthy lifestyle that prioritizes long-term emotional and physical health. The third piece of advice may be difficult to accept, but it holds the key to lasting inner peace. Stop expecting others to recognize your sacrifices. This truth can be uncomfortable, but it's also liberating when fully embraced. Let's delve deeper into why this shift in mindset is transformative. We spend much of our lives giving to others. For our children, partners, and friends, we offer our time, energy, and love, often without hesitation. There's a quiet hope that these efforts will be acknowledged, that one day, gratitude will be expressed. Yet, life has a way of defying such expectations. More often than not, the recognition we long for never arrives, leaving an ache we struggle to ignore. Think about the countless moments you've sacrificed your own needs for the sake of others. Those times when you silently wished for a nod of appreciation or a heartfelt thank you. How many of those wishes went unanswered? Each instance of unacknowledged effort can chip away at your spirit, building a quiet frustration that festers into bitterness if left unchecked. This pattern reveals a fundamental issue. tying our sense of fulfillment to others' responses. When we seek validation through external acknowledgement, we relinquish control of our happiness. Our generous acts risk becoming transactions, with gratitude as the anticipated payment. When the payment doesn't come, we're left disillusioned, questioning the worth of our efforts. Here's an empowering realization: the value of your sacrifices exists independently of recognition. Your compassion, kindness, and love are profound because they originate from your authentic self. These actions are meaningful not because someone noticed them, but because they reflect the best parts of who you are. Recognition, while nice, is not a measure of your worth. To achieve true peace, we must release the need for others to validate our efforts. Stop waiting for acknowledgement that may never come. Life is too fleeting to spend it yearning for approval. Instead, let's embrace the fulfillment of giving freely, driven by the joy it brings rather than the gratitude it might evoke. In doing so, we reclaim our happiness and find the strength to thrive within ourselves, free from the weight of unmet expectations. The fourth key to happiness is found in releasing expectations. Let go of the belief that everyone will fully appreciate what we do for them. Understand that some may never see or acknowledge our efforts, and that's perfectly fine. Our worth should never hinge on others' approval or recognition. Instead, we must draw strength and pride from the purity of our intentions, knowing that we acted with love, kindness, and sincerity. That alone is more than enough. When we free ourselves from the need for validation, we unlock a profound sense of inner peace. This liberation allows us to embrace self-worth on our own terms. The power to feel whole and valuable has always been within our grasp. The absence of recognition doesn't lessen the significance of what we've done. Our contributions remain meaningful, and our actions retain their purpose. They stand as testaments to our character, regardless of others' acknowledgement. By stepping away from the need for external approval, we free ourselves from invisible restraints. This choice paves the way to a more authentic, unburdened existence. In doing so, we claim ownership of our happiness and our freedom. Life has already been filled with moments of giving, sacrifice, and love. Now is the time to shift our focus inward and celebrate ourselves. Every effort made, every act of generosity shared, holds its own intrinsic value. To learn about releasing expectations, begin your day with intentional mindfulness. Upon waking, take a few minutes to sit in silence and focus on your breathing. As you breathe in, think about self-acceptance. As you exhale, imagine letting go of the need for validation from others. This morning ritual sets the tone for a day anchored in inner peace and self-worth. In the afternoon, incorporate a reflective pause into your routine. Whether during lunch or a midday break, take 5 minutes to review your actions so far. Ask yourself, have I done my best? Was my effort genuine? Affirm that your value lies in the sincerity of your actions, not in how they're received. Writing these reflections in a journal can further reinforce this mindset. To maintain the habit throughout the day, practice detachment during social interactions. When offering kindness, support, or sharing thoughts, remind yourself not to expect specific responses or gratitude. Pay attention to how it feels to give freely, knowing your value is not tied to their reaction. Over time, this perspective will strengthen your ability to act without seeking external rewards. In the evening, dedicate time to gratitude for your own efforts. Before bed, write down 3 things you did during the day that you're proud of, regardless of whether anyone noticed or acknowledged them. This practice helps internalize the belief that your worth comes from your actions and intentions, not others' recognition. Finally, solidify the habit by ending your day with a visualization exercise. Close your eyes and imagine releasing invisible chains, each one representing an expectation you've held. Visualize yourself walking freely, lighter and more at peace. Pair this with soothing music or deep breathing to create a calming ritual. With consistency, these practices will help you fully embrace the joy of living without the weight of others' approval. We must remember that our worth isn't defined by others. It's shaped by the strength, care, and integrity we bring into the world. These are qualities no one can take away or diminish. True happiness comes from realizing that the power to feel fulfilled lies within us. We alone hold the key to appreciating our lives, our actions, and our journey. Let us cherish that truth and live with pride in who we are. The fifth piece of advice may be difficult to embrace, but it holds the power to be utterly transformative. Stop using age as an excuse to resist change. It's a stark truth that many find uncomfortable. Yet, how often do we hear, or even tell ourselves, "I'm too old for that"? This simple phrase becomes a shield, a way to avoid stepping outside the familiar boundaries we've built around ourselves. Age is frequently wielded as a reason to stay stagnant. Whether it's avoiding a new challenge, clinging to old habits, or hesitating to seek joy in unfamiliar ways, the excuse of age can feel deceptively valid. But the reality is this: as long as there's breath in our lungs, there's potential for growth. Far too many believe that after a certain milestone, profound transformation is out of reach. They think their thoughts, behaviors, and lives are set in stone. This belief is a fallacy, a self-imposed prison that robs us of life's greatest gifts. Our uncle Michel was a man whose life seemed to be shaped by routine and reluctance. He lived quietly in a small town, where the most adventurous thing he did was plant a new type of tomato in his backyard garden each spring. Michel was reliable, practical, and predictable to a fault. At every family gathering, we'd ask if he'd tried anything new, and his answer was always the same: "At my age, what's the point?" But beneath his calm demeanor lay stories of a younger Michel, a man who had once been full of dreams. He used to sketch grand designs for houses he wanted to build, speak of foreign lands he hoped to explore, and play the violin with such passion that neighbors would gather outside his window just to listen. Yet life happened. His dreams were set aside as responsibilities piled up: work, family, bills, and the endless march of time. By the time Michel turned 70, those dreams seemed so distant they might as well have belonged to someone else. He laughed when we brought them up. "That was a different lifetime," he'd say. "I'm too old for all that now." We had long stopped trying to convince him otherwise, thinking perhaps he was content with his quiet existence. Then, one ordinary morning, Michel received an extraordinary letter. It was from an architecture firm in Paris, inviting him to attend an exhibition. They had discovered his old sketches, ones he had submitted decades ago in a long-forgotten contest. To his surprise, they wanted to showcase them as part of a collection celebrating overlooked talent. When he shared the news, we expected him to shrug it off. After all, Michel hadn't picked up a pencil to draw in over 40 years. And Paris? That was a city he'd only ever seen in books. "It's flattering," he said with a modest smile, "but it's not for me. I'm too old to be running off to Paris." For weeks, the invitation sat on his kitchen table, untouched. But something about it lingered in his mind. One evening, while flipping through an old photo album, Michel came across a picture of himself in his 20s, standing proudly beside one of his early designs. The young man in the photo had bright eyes and limitless dreams. Staring at the image, Michel felt an unfamiliar ache, a longing to reconnect with that part of himself he had buried for so long. The next day, he surprised everyone by announcing his decision. "I'm going," he declared, his voice steady but resolute. "It's time I see what's left of those old dreams." The preparations were daunting. Michel hadn't traveled in years, let alone flown to another country. He dusted off his old passport, bought a guidebook, and spent hours watching videos about Paris. He even dug out his violin, long abandoned in the attic, and began practicing again, saying he wanted to bring a piece of his youth with him. When Michel finally arrived in Paris, it was as if a door had opened to a world he'd forgotten existed. The exhibition was held in a grand hall, filled with works by architects of all ages. Seeing his sketches framed on the wall brought tears to his eyes. People marveled at his designs, asking questions, complimenting his vision. For the first time in decades, Michel felt like the young dreamer he once was. But the trip wasn't just about the exhibition. Michel wandered the streets of Paris, letting its charm awaken something within him. He visited museums, sat in cafes, and played his violin by the Seine, drawing small crowds who clapped and cheered. Every moment felt like a gift, a reminder that life could still be vibrant and full of surprises. When Michel returned home, he was transformed. The man who once dismissed change as impossible at his age was now brimming with enthusiasm. He began sketching again, filling notebooks with new designs. He joined a local orchestra, sharing his love for music with others. And, most importantly, he spoke about his trip with a passion that inspired everyone around him. "Age isn't the problem," Michel told us one evening. "The problem is forgetting who you are, what you love, and what you're capable of." He taught us that it's never too late to chase a dream, reignite a passion, or embrace a new chapter of life. Michel's story became a beacon for all of us, a reminder that the only thing standing between us and transformation is the courage to say, "Why not now?" In truth, later years can be the most fertile ground for change. With age comes the clarity that youth often lacks, the ability to distinguish what truly matters from what doesn't. Experience sharpens our focus, helping us prioritize fulfillment over superficial pursuits. Consider this: the wisdom we've accumulated is priceless, but its worth lies in its application. How many opportunities have slipped through our fingers because we told ourselves, "It's too late"? How many dreams faded into the background? How many connections were left unexplored, all because we believed the lie of "too old"? The tragedy isn't aging itself, it's the barriers we place around our lives because of it. Age, far from being a disadvantage, is a powerful asset. It equips us with a depth of perspective that can guide us toward genuine satisfaction. The truth is, change is always possible. Whether you're 60, 70, or beyond, the chains that hold you back exist only in your mind. Yes, admitting this can feel uncomfortable, but it's also liberating. The moment we release ourselves from the excuse of age, we step into a world of untapped possibilities. New dreams, new joys, and new purpose await, proof that we are never too old to redefine our lives. The sixth piece of advice is a challenge many of us face, especially as time moves forward. We must avoid clinging to the past as if it is our only refuge. While it's natural to look back, doing so excessively can weigh us down. Nostalgia, when savored in small doses, has its charm. It can warm our hearts, offering comfort as we recall moments of joy and triumph that have shaped us. Those glimpses into the past remind us of the richness of our journeys. However, when we begin to dwell too deeply in those memories, we risk becoming captives of what once was. Living too much in the past creates a barrier that keeps us from fully embracing the life unfolding right now. It's like closing a door to the present while longing for what lies behind it. How often do we hear ourselves saying, "Things were better back then," or "Those were the happiest times of our lives"? Such thoughts can be seductive, convincing us that the pinnacle of our existence is already behind us. Yet, this mindset limits our perspective and narrows our potential. By clinging too tightly to the past, we may unintentionally shield ourselves from the possibilities and wonders of today. The present, though imperfect, is vibrant, alive, and full of opportunity. It is here, in the now, that we have the power to grow, to learn, and to create new experiences that might one day rival the memories we treasure. The past has its rightful place in our lives, serving as a foundation and a source of wisdom. But it is not meant to be the script for our present or the ruler of our future. When we let the past dominate, we miss the magic that lies in forging ahead and embracing the unknown. Striking a balance is essential. We can honor the moments that brought us to where we are today without allowing them to limit who we are becoming. Cherishing the past should never come at the expense of discovering what still awaits us. When we embrace the present with open hearts, we find a richness that no memory can replace. Life is happening here and now, and it is worth living fully. By choosing to focus on today, we open ourselves to the beauty, growth, and possibilities that the future still holds. Let's talk about something crucial. Stop living your life to please others, especially your family. For years, many of us have dedicated ourselves to serving the needs of others. We've prioritized our children, grandchildren, and spouse, often at the expense of our own happiness. But here's a reality check. This pressure doesn't fade with time. It doesn't ease as we get older. Instead, it tends to grow, making us feel as though our worth is only measured by what we can still do for others. This mindset is toxic. It's not love, nor is it a reflection of your true value. Love does not demand sacrifice after sacrifice, draining your energy in the process. When your worth is reduced to how much you can give, you're living in a cage, one built by unrealistic expectations and guilt. It's time to recognize this for what it is, a prison, not a path to fulfillment. You deserve so much more. Here's the thing. You don't need to stay in relationships that only bring you pain. Society teaches us that family must always come first, no matter what. We are told that peace within the family is sacred, even if it costs us our mental well-being. But how many times have you endured emotional manipulation or disrespect from people who claim to love you? How many times have you sacrificed your peace just to keep the peace? Sometimes, the healthiest choice you can make is to walk away. This doesn't mean you're abandoning love. It means you are choosing to protect yourself. It's okay to step back from toxic people, even if they are family. Your mental and emotional health are invaluable. You should never feel obligated to endure negativity, no matter who it comes from. Imagine what your life could look like if you took control. Picture yourself setting boundaries with those who constantly drain your energy. Visualize days filled with joy, free from the weight of toxic relationships. This is not a fantasy. It's a reality you can create. The moment you prioritize your happiness and peace, everything changes. You have the power to shape your life, to reclaim the time and energy you've spent on those who do not uplift you. You deserve to live a life filled with love, not stress. Old age should be a time of comfort, not constant turmoil. It's time to invest in your well-being. Your happiness, your peace, and your joy must come first. You have the power to distance yourself from those who harm you, and you have the right to protect your emotional health. Your remaining years are precious. Spend them in a way that honors your worth, not the expectations others place on you. As we conclude, take a moment to reflect on what we've covered. From safeguarding emotional health to freeing yourself from expectations, embracing change at any age, finding balance, and seeking deeper fulfillment. What resonated with you most? What will you put into practice from today's video? Share your thoughts below. Remember, true growth starts with action. If you found value in this video, leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe for more content that motivates and empowers you toward a happier, healthier life.